All right, so here's some, since I would like to see people use more LiDARs on their club robots, I'm doing two things here. I'm going to talk about the Benewake Mini Micro, and that's the name, guys, Mini Micro LiDAR. I'm going to talk about some outdoor data that I've collected. And then I'm going to show you some Neato LiDAR module data sets that I took in the can, and those are going to release. They're released so you can download them. Yeah. And why would I do that? Is I want people to be able, this way, even if you don't have a LiDAR, you can use the data and you can test your algorithms and determine, well, yeah, I would have found it, or no, that wouldn't have worked. So we'll talk about that when I get there. All right, this is that picture there is my setup that I've got. It looks like this. And I could hook it up, but I probably won't. I'll leave it here and people can look. If you haven't seen it already, this is what it looks like.
If you move the box, the camera can see the, there we go.
Yeah, that is small. About the size of a sharp sensor.
Okay, so here's what I did. Now, I got to remember, this is not the most scientific pile, but it's what I have at home and what I could do without sweating too much. All right, so I set up a table in the backyard, and I took measurements with my Benewake LiDAR and made against 3 targets. The fence, pretty big, easy to hit, okay? A dense bush, which my wife says I have to go trim, and a sparsely leafed bush that's probably on the way out, you know. So I started off with a distance of approximately 724 meters. All right, and because the bushes were sitting in front of the fence, they were a little less. They were at about approximately 6.1. So you might ask, well, why all of the approximate signs? Because I measured this fairly quickly with a tape measure, and if you've ever tried to handle a 20-something foot tape measure by yourself, it's
sort of, kind of.
It's a kind of type of measurement. I later learned that I could use my laser distance measurements and get a better measurement. You'll see that a little bit later. All right, so the target was, like I said, the lux was 10/830, which is full sunlight, but it's on the lower end of full sunlight.
What are you measuring that with? What are you measuring light?
I have a Unity UT 383 light meter. Now, I also have a Wesson light meter, which is a very high precision instrument, lab instrument, but it only goes up to pretty much probably maybe 5,000 lux or something like that. And I have checked these 2 meters against each other within the range of the Wesson, and it looks like it's pretty good reading. Okay, I got to admit, I don't know what happens when you start getting up in the really super high lux area, but this is the data. Take it as it is, dudes. All right, I have 2 laser meters, a gold black GBM 15, which is a 40 meter one, and whatever you call it, CP1005, which is a 100 meter unit. Also have a Litton 100-foot tape measure, which, okay, and then I also have a pulse light LiDAR light version 1. And between all of those guys, I can, first of all, I'll tell you that the LiDAR light is a better, much more accurate than the Benewake. All right, so you can see the fence back there. You can kind of see get the cursor to move. You can see my stuff kind of sitting out there. There's the light meter. This is just in case you don't know. Texas is probably in the sunlight area, okay? Full daylight goes up to about 10,000 lux. Sunlight, it goes up to over 100,000 lux. All right? All right, then I took some second set of meters. Now after that I learned and I said, okay, so if you look at this guy, you can see there's a piece of cardboard taped onto that guy. Well, that gave me a target to use my laser meters against because they're a red dot, you know, you can look at them. And I was able to get a better reading. And why are these units set behind it? That's because the measurement that the meter takes is to the back of the unit case. That way you can put it on the wall and go across the wall. All right, so the distance there was 12.8 meters, which is greater than the 12 meter range of the Benewake. And then I moved it to just under 12. All right? And they had 82,000 lux. So here's the data points that I got. Now these are actually pretty much like a median type number out of a large collection of numbers. Okay, if people have watched me use the Benewake software, you know that you can record and continuously. So what do I take away from this? Notice that when this reading was taken, that the light level was low. What that was is a cloud passing over the top of it. So when a cloud passed over it, you know, it actually got pretty accurate. All right, but out here where we had 82,000, it was able to tell that it did see something down there, and it was greater than 12 meters. Okay, so what happens with the Benewake is that if you have a target that's greater than its range, but it still knows the target's out there, it reports 12 meters. Okay, so I thought that was interesting. And you can see here where I was almost a meter off in that high light situation when I was shooting at the AC. Now, my thought on that might be, so what it looks like is it's a little high when it's bright. It's a little high if it's low, if the distance is smaller, and it underestimates in really super bright light. So light, it's getting readings though. I mean, I'm sure if I were writing a spec for the unit, I'd probably say, well, I can't tell them that it's off by a meter. You know what I mean, nobody would buy my unit.
Yeah.
So what I would say is, well, you know, it's in the bright sunlight, it's not that accurate beyond a certain range. But what I'm telling you is, it does get measurements. And this would be all very useful. So if you couldn't spring for a LiDAR light, which costs about 120 bucks, 3 of these for that price. Okay, and let me go back one. That's a long wage, dudes.
Yeah.
Yep. In the videos for those, it looked like they had made kind of like a tube. I think that went over the receiver. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I saw that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that, but I tried to think about, well, does that really help? All right, I'm sure that a shade of some sort could possibly, real close to the unit, help.
Yeah.
But I did not use a shade. I purposely did not do that.
Okay.
So I figured anything you get from that goes in the, well, what am I going to do next type thing?
Mm-hmm.
And that might be, yeah, I've actually ordered my own traffic cone. And so one of the things I'm going to do is see if what this guy does against the traffic cone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
See if we can find it. Yeah.
All right, so now the last object. All right, so here, a while back, I took a Neato spinning LiDAR module. We all know what we're talking about, right? There's nobody here that doesn't know what that. And I placed it, we happened to have the can-can soccer thing set up for some reason, probably practice session. And I set it up in 3 positions, as you can see in that unit over there, labeled 1, 2, and 3. All right, and I collected data. And it, you know, you don't collect a little data with this stuff. It just keeps spinning, you know.
Yeah.
So what I did, and what I'm going to show, is the first complete revolution. The data sets have multiple spins. If you want to go there, have at it. Okay, but the data sets include that, but the graphs I'm going to show only have the first full revolution graphed. The data, I put it out on the website. It's not on a page or anything. You just have to go to this direct and pull it out. And I'm hoping that somebody can take this, if they want to, and run their algorithms against it and try to develop whatever they want to do. All right? Some things that I've looked at differences, you know, or the derivative, point-to-point derivative. I've looked at trying to extract a slope. And a few other things that are interesting, but the only ones I'm going to show are the distance measurement graphs and them translated to X and Y. So here's the 3, here's the one in the center.
Yeah, that always looks great.
You can see it's in the center, 0, 0. Now, I have to admit, when I was taking this, knowing where the front of the unit was probably beyond me. You know, I mean, I'm looking at it, and I don't know if you all seen it, it's kind of like pear-shaped, and you, okay, is that the front, or is this the front, or, you know. Anyway, so that's why there may be this tilt that you see.
Yeah, I
Right.
noticed that mine wasn't quite lined up with the point on the oval.
Yeah.
It was shifted a little bit.
So anyway, but you see very nice and symmetrical. Remember that a bad reading shows up as a 0. Well, you might not know that, but the way I have it set up. Okay? So when it didn't see anything out here, it just mapped that to 0. Okay? The next point is at the starting zone. So, you know, you got the whole arena in front of you. It's very symmetrical. Okay? This is the 0, wait, 0, 0 is right here. I'm not sure what that is. Must be this stuff behind it. Probably a wall. Or it could be me crouched over it, I'm not sure. But anyway, there's, so that's, you know, you get a good representation. And this is in this corner. And what you see is that the light hit goes up and then returns. It'll hit some point where it just skitters to the wall.
Yeah, so you get the...
All right, so you have these openings.
Doesn't do well in shallow angles.
Yeah, it doesn't do well in shallow angles. But you do have, my intent, and I'm still thinking about it, is to try to pick out the corners.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You could do, I think, Ray, you look for the opening. That might be a good viable way too.
Yeah.
And you can see that when it's in a given line, it's pretty straight.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 data points. They're now available to you. All you have to do is go to this website. Hopefully this guy will get printed up and they'll be in the links. Or you can always ask me for it and I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
All right? So that's that's all I got.
Mm-hmm.